So I know I'm at the time of recording this, I'm about a week late. So by the time this goes up, I'll be even later. But I kind of wanted to talk about that Nintendo Direct that we just had. There's a lot of stuff. I originally was going to live stream this on the main channel, but I've been busy. I got college, I have projects I need to work on, very important stuff. I haven't been doing much lately as far as Vixie Kitsy goes, unfortunately, but I have projects that I want to do. I'm planning things. Um, so, but I just wanted to upload something. And I figure what better to upload than me talking about stuff that nobody cares about. So I won't dawdle. I guess I'll just start with the beginning. I have a list here of things to talk about. Beginning with the Super Mario Brothers 40th anniversary. So there leading up to the direct, there was a lot of talk about what would Nintendo do for the 40th anniversary, and the idea that I kind of subscribed to the most was Super Mario Maker 3. I figure at this point it's been longer since Mario Maker 2 and now than the gap between Mario Maker 1 and Mario Maker 2, and they could put out a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Maker 2, but since so much of that game is focused on playing other people's levels made online, I'm worried that, especially if it's using the same kind of servers. Now, of course, you can sort things out. There are definitely workarounds, but I feel like at this point, just make a new game. Avoid compatibility issues with Mario Maker 2 on the original Switch, since so much of that is based on user-made content. And how much development would a new Mario Maker even take to make at this point anyway? Obviously you're gonna add new things, but the base is very much the same idea. But no, this anniversary celebration was not actually, it was arguably not as extravagant as the 35th anniversary. Not even arguably, because the 35th anniversary, we got Mario 3D World on the Switch with Bowser's Fury. We got Super Mario Brothers 35, 3D All-Stars, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, plus a ton of brand collabs. And the Mario Game & Watch too. And so, the 40th anniversary had a lot to live up to. Did it? I don't know. We'll get into it. So the first major thing that they talked about was the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Now, I believe the day prior, Universal, I think they filed a domain for a Super Mario Galaxy movie, but you never know with that kind of thing. Are they doing this really far in advance for the next one, or is that the movie that we're getting in April next year? And it turned out to be the latter. I thought that the reveal was really cool because at the end of the last movie there was a Yoshi egg, and they start this teaser with Super Mario World music, and then they kind of fake you out and go into the clouds, and it's Super Mario Galaxy. It's really cool. I am excited. I'm interested what they're gonna do. I did not see Seth Rogen in the recast list for this movie, so that's exciting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I'm shocked that they're jumping straight to Galaxy, but I'm not complaining. Speaking of Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 is releasing on the Switch on October 2nd for $70 together, or $40 a piece. Is it worth it? I mean, no. I mean, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it, but it's probably not worth it. I mean, I don't think $70 is like egregious or anything. That's like $35 a piece, and it's not just like a straight up port. It's mostly just a straight up port. So what's different? Things they didn't talk about in the trailer. The Nintendo Switch 2 version will have mouse controls, and in general, the game will have a music player similar to Odyssey's, I believe, where you can open up the soundtrack list and play any song you want at any time. I don't know how true that, like, I don't know exactly how that works, but there is a music player of some sort in both of the games. I don't know if you can play both of the game's soundtracks across each game. Probably not, considering they're available separately. It doesn't really matter. So the problem with the pricing is, like, these games released for like $50 a piece, and with that in mind, like, yeah, that's a deal. But then, you know, Nintendo Selects, I believe both of these games were sold under the Nintendo Selects line. And then on top of that, on the Wii U, you could buy the games for like $20 a pop. I think even like $10 at one point. So, you know, and they're 15 years old. Now, I don't really personally think that a game's intrinsic value necessarily changes because of age. I mean, it can be altered by the age, but I don't think that being old should be a sole factor that a game is less valuable as an experience. And there's definitely $70 worth of game here to play, but, like, you released 2 Pikmin games for $50. Now, granted, if you're gonna release 2 GameCube games for $50, again, I don't think $70 is egregious for 2 Wii Mario games. It's still dumb. I'm still going to buy it. And then they're also releasing Rosalina's Storybook as a actual, like, physical book, which I like. You know, a lot of people say that the storybook is one of the reasons that they just love Galaxy. And I always thought it was a neat aspect, but I don't think I really cared about it as much as others. But I also think the sole reason for that is when I first played Galaxy, I was like 10. So, you know, but, I mean, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy all of this crap. But I think it's cute, and it's like $25. I think that's perfectly fine for, like, a collectible book. I mean, you know, you can compare it to other books that are on the market, like, oh, this book is the same size and it's only $10. Why is this $25? And I think, like, you know, it's a collector's item. It's pretty niche. So, you know, it's fine. $25, it's fine. Next up for the 40th anniversary is Mario Tennis Fever. It's Mario Tennis. Now, I have a complicated relationship with Mario Tennis. Specifically, that the only one that I own is Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, and the only other one I can currently play via my Switch is Mario Tennis on the Nintendo 64 and Mario Tennis on the Game Boy. I think Game Boy Color. I've tried demos of, or not a demo, but I think they had like a game trial for Mario Tennis Aces. That was fun. That was Mario Tennis. I'm probably just gonna buy Mario Tennis Aces for now. It's like $30 on eBay. The story mode in Mario Tennis Fever looks cool. That's cool. The Fever Rackets, I think is what they're called. Those look cool. You have the most characters in any Mario Tennis game up to this point. Okay. I think the only thing that everybody gathered from that trailer was Baby Waluigi. And then Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup and Bella Bell Park. It's a lot of multiplayer modes. It's cute. It looks fine. I mean, I'm gonna buy it. But like, I need to see more. I know they didn't show off everything in that trailer. They're gonna show more at a later time, and I mean, there was stuff that people were analyzing just from that trailer that they didn't talk about. Somebody saw a Rosalina icon, and they think that they're gonna add Rosalina to the game as a playable character. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I mean, it makes sense. It'd be cool. That's all I have to say about that. And then Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. It looks like a Yoshi game. It looks very cute. It obviously is made for a younger audience, but I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's a Yoshi game. The art style. I like how the Yoshi series has just become like an artistic display at this point. Like, every game now, I mean, really every game in the series ever, has had some sort of neat art style, and I'm glad that hasn't changed with this release. I need to see more, but the style of the game looks really cute. I like the oh god, I like that you're going and like learning facts about these creatures. It's cute. Yeah, I mean, it's a Yoshi game. It looks cute. What else is there to say? Alright, and that's the end of the Mario stuff. So the Mario segment, it seemingly was just tacked on to the main direct because, you know, usually directs are around 45 minutes, and that Mario segment was 15 minutes, making this the longest non-console related or non-console reveal Nintendo Direct to date. So, you know, that's cool, I guess. Into the main headlines. Dinkum. Dinkum is pretty cute. It's a cute looking little life sim type game as far as I gather. Kind of Animal Crossing-ish, Stardew Valley-ish, Minecraft-ish, My Sims-ish. It gives off the vibe of a lot of different games. I think there's a demo out actually that I need to try. And then they talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which is neat. I'm glad that that game is coming onto a Nintendo platform and it's not like a stinky cloud version. That would be annoying. And it's getting physical release. It is a game key card. That's annoying, but it's also like 90 gigabytes. So I think it gets a pass. You know, I haven't really played Final Fantasy. I played it for like 5 minutes when I had PlayStation Plus. It seems like something I really need to like sink my teeth into, and you know, I intend to. 90 gigabytes is a lot. I need a micro SD card. And then we move on to Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I'm excited for this game. It looks like Tomodachi Life, which, you know, that's what I want. Something that I immediately noticed about it is that there are new like Mii customization options, and I don't mean like in Miitopia you could have like makeup or wigs, or although from what I see it looks like those still might be an option. But what I'm referring to is like they're adding new options to the core Mii maker. Like there are new mouths and noses and eyebrows and other stuff, eyes, I'm sure, hairstyles, whatever, and that's really cool. It's easy to say, oh, I wish that they would add this stuff to the Nintendo Switch 2 Mii Maker, but I think really the reason that they don't do that is compatibility with older games that use Mii's. Now, I'm sure over time they might add it, and then new games that use Mii's will be compatible with the new options. But I don't think it's a good use of development time to go back and update all of these games to be compatible with these new Mii customization options. So, it's annoying, but whatever. Another thing that I see people talk about, and I've talked about it too, is relationships in this game and how they will be handled. Because of course, when the 3DS game released, there was a lot of discourse about how you couldn't have gay relationships in the game. And I believe Nintendo was like, they apologized. They made it seem like a genuine oversight rather than actual malice, which I enjoyed. And then they also said if the series continues, they will make sure to incorporate that, or at least, include some extra extent of diversity. Now, how's that going to be handled? I don't know. The way it looks in the game, at least from what we've seen, is that like Mii's will have sort of a level system, kind of like Miitopia. Now, it doesn't look like it'll be leveled as an actual like number levels, but we see two Mii's interact, and then there's a little bubble showing them, and it says like acquaintances or something. So I'm now curious, like, will there be relationships at all in this game? Because like a big part of the 3DS and even the DS game was getting married and having a child. And so to kind of remove that, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think they're going to, but that might be the best way, at least in their eyes, to kind of sidestep away from the problem of homosexual relationships. We'll see. I don't know what they're gonna do. I hope they hold their word, but I'm gonna buy it either way. If they don't, it's not a huge deal, but I would like them to, but anyway, I'm very excited for Tomodachi Life. It looks like a very natural successor to the 3DS game, and that's really all I need. I could keep talking about Tomodachi Life, but we gotta move on here. So let's see, what is next on my list? Hades 2. I don't know why I wrote about that, because I don't know much about Hades 2, but it looks like a neat game. I remember Hades, the first one, getting like critical acclaim. It's a roguelike, so I'm only just now introducing myself to the world of roguelikes. I recently got Cult of the Lamb. I got the Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC. We'll talk about that later. But Hades 2 is cool, and it's getting a physical release, and it will all be on the cartridge, which is stellar, especially for an indie game. For some reason, I feel like I remember seeing some discourse that they were going to charge like $60 for the game, which I don't know where I saw that. I don't know if there was ever any credibility to that, because it's like $30, I think. But I just thought that was interesting. Kirby Air Riders is getting an amiibo line, which is neat. It is also getting another direct. For some reason, I love to hear Sakurai talk about his projects. I like hearing what he has to say about his games. He's very, very fun to listen to, and like you can tell he's super passionate about his projects. And I might be alone on this, but I didn't really care for the first direct. Like, the game looks good, don't get me wrong. I will get it. But the direct that we got in I forget when it was. I don't know. Whenever we got it. The direct for that game, it was so like unorganized. Like, you had a dedicated like, ugh. So we started off, here's some of the racers, and then later on there's a whole segment dedicated to here's some of the racers, and then later on they're talking about something else, and it's like, oh, here's another racer. And like it was the same thing for like the machines that they ride on and stuff. And then like, I don't know, it just felt very all over the place and uncharacteristically unorganized or disorganized, I don't know, for Sakurai. Now, I mean, I'm not holding that against the game. I think the game looks good. Granted, I don't really care for the stuff in the city. I'll probably just be racing. But why are we giving this game another Nintendo Direct? Like, I feel like we've seen plenty when there are so many other games that could use it more. Give Metroid Prime 4 Direct. But the game looks good, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. I'm just... like, we saw plenty. Next is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That's a fun one. Tears of the Kingdom story is good. I enjoyed it. Age of Imprisonment is going to be canon, which was not the case with Age of Calamity to the first game, which is neat. It's nice to have another like piece of that story. I'm a little bit tired of the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom world. Like, don't get me wrong, it was amazing to play, and I absolutely adore it. Like, when I got Tears of the Kingdom, I did not stop playing it until I was done with it, and like, it was fantastic. But, you know, after like 8 years of this line of games, and we're getting another one in November, it's exciting. It's very exciting. And I know the gameplay is completely different, but it's the setting, you know. I want to try some different stuff. This is really cool, and I will get it eventually, but I am good for now. And then Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Not an HD 2D game. I'm a fan of that. These are some of the most disgusting character designs that I've ever seen in a video game. That's all I have to say about that. And then this was the big, like, head-turner thing in the Direct, I think. Virtual Boy for Nintendo Classics. It looks like Virtual Boy on Nintendo Classics. The biggest problem that many people have with this thing is that you need to buy an accessory. A $100 accessory, or a $30, or I think $25 accessory that's made out of cardboard if you want to play these games. Now, I mean, you don't need the accessory to use the app or anything. You could probably get by, but it would suck and not be fun because they don't offer just a normal play mode. You need to have the accessory to get the full experience of playing these games. And that's dumb. But like, here's the thing. I'm not defending this by any means, but the only people that are gonna care about this accessory are like people that would buy dumb crap like this anyway, just to buy it. Here's kind of my perspective of why it costs so much. So like, Virtual Boy is not going to sell any new Switch Online expansion pack subscriptions. Nobody's gonna get that for Virtual Boy, right? And like, the accessory is expensive, but it's extremely niche. Like, I'm sure there will be like maybe a couple thousand of these things sold. So you gotta make, you know, they're gonna raise the price to kind of get the cost return, because it's for like 5 people that actually care about this thing. And the fact that they are releasing like a cheap cardboard version, I don't like when people are like, oh, $30 cardboard, because you're paying for the ingenuity, you're paying for the minds that went into designing this accessory to work as well as it does. I can't go to Home Depot and get a box and make this that well, okay? Like, I'd rather just pay $25 for somebody to do it for me. But anyway, the fact that there is like a cheaper version that's more budget friendly because it's cheaper, it makes it feel, at least to me, more like a well-intended blunder. Like, they're like, oh, you can experience these games as they were always intended. Here's an accessory, and here's a cheaper version. If you don't want to shell out $100, I don't want to shell out $25. I'm gonna buy the $100 one. I mean, I will. I'm not gonna be, well, I will be happy about it. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna be very happy to do that, and I will play it. But I don't think, like, it's completely understandable to think it's dumb, because it is dumb. I've talked about this for too long. Let's move on. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Now, this game is a sad case. Not because it looks like a bad game at all. It looks like a fantastic game. And, I mean, Retro Studios, they always put their utmost effort into their games. But I'm just upset with how little fanfare this game is getting. Because 8 years in the making, and like roughly $150 to $200 million for the budget of this game, this game needs to become the best-selling Metroid game in the series by a pretty fair margin to even break even. The next best-selling game was Metroid Dread, at a little over 3 million, and I don't think that a first-person shooter is going to outsell that on Nintendo, especially with how little fanfare this thing is getting. Like, they've barely shown anything interesting about this game other than the fact that it's another Metroid Prime game. Now, you have Samus riding on this bike thingy in an open world looking place, but that's not enough. Like, as a long-time, well, I'm not personally a long-time fan, but from the perspective of a long-time fan, like, I'm not going to just buy this game just because it's a brand new Metroid Prime game. I mean, I'm sure that will be most of the people buying this game, because newcomers don't know what this is other than a normal first-person shooter game. Why should people buy this? I'm not saying that it's not worth buying, because I think it is worth buying, but I mean, like, Nintendo isn't giving us anything. The game was announced in 2017, and then I believe at one point it restarted development, and then it's been in progress up till now. It was announced officially last year, and we're finally getting the game. I don't think that this game is going to do as well as it needs to. And if this game is not profitable after 8 years of rocky development, I think we could say goodbye, or at least a prolonged farewell to the Metroid Prime series. It is getting amiibo, so that's cool, I guess. Donkey Kong Bonanza, DK Island, and Emerald Rush. It's $20. Is it worth it? I mean, I don't know. I think it's at least worth like $10. So here's the thing with this mode. Now, you have Emerald Rush. I really like Emerald Rush. I think it's a lot of fun. And like, if you're truly committed to doing absolutely everything you can do, like playing the mode on every difficulty, on every layer that it's available on, and then, spoiler alert, there's a hidden boss, another Void Kong boss. I think if you're truly committed to doing absolutely everything that you can do in the DLC, like, at least for me, I think that's $20 worth of playtime for me. I've seen people say, oh, Hollow Knight Silk Song just released for $20. And like, that's not really fair. Like, you can make that comparison, that's fine, but that's more of a freak accident than a genuine representation of the industry as a whole. I don't think it's really fair to compare, like, oh, this game released for $20, that means this other thing that is $20 and has less content is bad. Like, that's, I mean, you could make so many comparisons at that point. World of Goo was like $5. That means that, like, I don't know, freaking Bouncy Bob is a terrible game. I don't think World of Goo was $5. It probably was at some point, but I don't know. I just thought that was the first things that came to mind for some reason. And Bouncy Bob is not that great. It's fine. I'm getting off track here, but I don't think that that's, like, on its own a fair comparison. Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC is not worth $20. It's worth it to me, but to the average player, it's not essential content. I see a lot of people say that, it should be in the main game to be in place of how the Mushroom Kingdom was in Mario Odyssey. Like, we don't already have a parallel to that. That's, that is Ingot Isle. That's Ingot Isle at the end of the game. Like, that's the same idea. We don't need another one just because Mario had an extra world. Ingot Isle at the end of the game has exactly the same function that the Mushroom Kingdom did. It's fine. So yeah, not worth it to the average consumer. I like it. Pokemon Pokopia looks cute. It's like an Animal Crossing-ish, Stardew Valley-ish, Minecraft-ish, I guess. Pokemon spinoff, and it's a new Pokemon spinoff, which I like. I like how this game looks. I will be getting it. I don't know what else to say about it. Moving on. Pokemon Legends Z to A. Looks like a Pokemon Legends Z to A. And they already announced DLC for it? Like, why? I mean, you can do that. It's not the first time that Nintendo has done that. But, like, why? Okay, so, like, it's dumb. I don't think it's worth getting, like, this up in arms about it. It's dumb. It's a video game. It's not that deep. It's dumb. It is dumb. I don't understand what their mindset is trying to peddle DLC when the main game hasn't come out yet. I'm not going to say that this game is the devil for doing that, because, we've had other games do that. We've had, I think Smash did that, and it was a very complete game at launch. So, it'll be hard to really fully judge until we actually see the full game. But the DLC isn't coming out until 2026 anyway, I believe. It's still dumb. And then Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village are coming to the Switch too, and they're not cloud versions, which is really cool. I think they were I think they were available as cloud versions on the original Switch, but cloud versions suck. But more importantly, we have Resident Evil Requiem, which is launching day and date with other platforms. That's a huge deal. Like, it genuinely has been so long since we've had, like, a big AAA title released on a Nintendo platform the same day that they do on the other platforms, or, without it being compromised in some form. This is not Resident Evil Requiem Nintendo Switch 2 edition. This is just Resident Evil Requiem, and it's the same game as it is on the other platforms. That's really cool. Like, that hasn't happened since the PlayStation 4. No, that hasn't happened since the PlayStation 3, I don't think. Now, we've had a couple here and there, like on the Wii U. I think there was, oh god. uh, what is it called? Yakuza? Something on the Wii U? I don't know. It's happened, but it's very few and far between, and it usually is definitely a downgrade to some degree, either on the Nintendo platform or on the other platforms, because you have to make sure to accommodate for the Nintendo platform. So the fact that we finally have a Nintendo platform that's powerful enough to run these games, it's exciting that we're actually getting these games. Suika Game Planet. Okay. More Nintendo Switch 2 editions for, like, indie games. So, Overcooked 2, you got camera play, la-di-da. Stardew Valley is really cool. You get split-screen multiplayer and mouse control, which is very nice. I mean, I don't have Stardew Valley on the Switch. I want to get Stardew Valley on the Switch. And I probably will get the Switch 2 edition. But I just, like, I don't know. It's such a cute little game. I need to get into it more. And, I mean, if this is what it takes, sure. Human Fall Flat Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I like this game. And then they end off the Direct with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. What a way to piss out. So I'm not going to say that Fire Emblem didn't deserve a big spot in this Direct, because, you know, it's a series that has a growing fan base, and I'm just like, there have been so many instances where, you know, the Fire Emblem game for that generation would quite possibly be the last Fire Emblem game, unless it got supported. But now it's like a series with tons of fans. I mean, it's obviously not as big as like a Mario or a Zelda, but it's got quite a wide fan base, especially in Japan. So it's exciting to see that the series is getting supported so quickly on the Switch 2, especially since we just got Fire Emblem Engage in like 2023. But I don't think that you should end a Nintendo Direct with that. Like, give it one of the big spots, definitely. Like, yeah. But that is like step one of how not to end a Nintendo Direct. It's a pretty niche franchise still. It is growing, but it's still niche. So I feel like a lot of people, like, if I'm watching it live and I get to the last announcement and it's Fire Emblem, I'm probably just gonna click away because I don't really care about Fire Emblem. I'm more likely to watch it through if you give it a big spot in the middle, because I'm gonna watch it live. I can't skip through that. But, you know, anyway, either way, I'm glad that the series is getting supported. Maybe this will be the one that gets me into the franchise. I don't know, but yeah, it's cool. It's fine. It's whatever. I'm glad. I'm happy. And that was the Nintendo Direct. I hear some people say that this is the worst Nintendo Direct of all time. If that's the case, I don't want to know what the Great Farm Direct of 2022 was. I think that was pretty solid. I think there's definitely an imbalance of, like, you know, spin-offs versus big mainline games, but I think a lot of it is just that these are leftovers from the original Switch that they decided to move development to the Switch 2 for, which, you know, makes sense. I feel like they could still have released them as Switch 1 games and then have a Switch 2 version, but, you know, whatever. But I'm sure after we get through the backlog next year, we'll start to get more big first-party games for the console. Overall, I thought it was a good Direct. I thought, you know, there was a lot of good stuff to see. A lot of great third-party stuff that I'm excited for. Again, like Final Fantasy VII, Resident Evil. A lot of stuff. I'm looking forward to having more games to play on this thing, because right now it's my Switch 1 library and Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. And, you know, there are other games to play right now. I could go get Cyberpunk. I could go get like freaking Street Fighter 6. But why do that when I can go buy 2 Wii games for $70?